Hey everyone, I'm going to give everybody about a minute or two to join in and then we'll get started. All right, hello everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Tracy. If you don't know me, a lot of you might know me from socials as Seven Figure Grammy. I am a Grammy to a precious 9-year-old granddaughter. But I wanted to have a session that's kind of more basic on just kind of the ins and outs of selling on Walmart, where people could ask questions. Um, so we're gonna do everything from just kind of give you guys a little bit of background about me and my Walmart journey, and then starting on Walmart and kind of how I look at Walmart differently from Amazon in terms of buying decisions. And we'll do a little bit of sourcing at the end. I will have a session coming up pretty soon with some live sourcing that I did one of those back, I think, in Q4. We'll do one of those again, but this one I kind of want to just pull back and kind of get to the basics of anyone who might maybe they haven't even started on Walmart yet, or maybe you're there, but you just kind of don't know where to go with your Walmart journey. So that's kind of, I guess, the beginning of this. So I've got a little bit of a presentation I'll go through, and then we'll kind of just kind of be loose with questions and answers and those kind of things. Let me present. So I kind of always joke with people that like I have been selling online since the dinosaurs. So like instead of like an OG, I'm an OD, like an old dinosaur in the e-commerce space because I've just been around it for so much of my life, really, at this point. Um, I started my e-commerce journey back in the 90s. I was a classroom teacher, and classroom teachers did not make very much money in the 90s. I mean, they still don't make a lot of money, but we really didn't make a lot of money back then. It was had to be kind of a calling, that you something you really felt called to do, because the pay was so bad, especially the state I started in. I had three small children. At the time, I was married to a civil servant, a firefighter who also didn't make a ton of money. And so, with three kids and Nintendos were coming out and that kind of thing, it was really hard to like buy birthday gifts and buy Christmas gifts, the things that they wanted, because there just wasn't a lot of extra money. And so I kind of stumbled into selling on eBay, because one of my sons really wanted a Lego set. It was like the big Harry Potter castle set. Um, and you couldn't find it anywhere. It was triple the price ever on eBay, and I couldn't afford those prices. And after looking for it for several months, I actually stumbled onto it at a Costco. And so I bought a few extras, brought them home, listed them on eBay. They sold immediately, like within minutes. So I went back and I bought more, and I was immediately hooked on the reselling bug, so to speak. So I sold pretty heavily on eBay in the 90s, mostly during Q4. I'd ramp things up. I was really specialized in toys, and there was no Amazon at that time. And there really was no Walmart.com or any place really online to buy toys. So if you couldn't find it at your local store, you really kind of were funneled to eBay. That was really your only other option. And so I sold toys in Q4, focusing on like whatever the hot toys were. Thankfully, I had kind of a built-in set of people to tell me because my kids and all their friends were always at my house. So I was always asking them like, "What do you want for your birthday? What do you want for Christmas?" to kind of figure that out. So I sold on eBay for years, and then in the year 2000, third-party sellers started being a thing on Amazon. They very slowly were letting third party sellers on the system. And due to my success on eBay, they actually invited me to come over and sell on Amazon. And so I had a couple other reseller friends that we just kind of like talked in a Facebook group, chat, Facebook chat. We actually started off in like the eBay threads. That was like eBay forums, but we made a little Facebook group for the three of us. We all three made the leap over into Amazon and started slowly selling more on Amazon. And so I was really one of the first sellers on the platform. And so I've been on the platform for over 25 years now. At the same time, I left my teaching job and took a job in the corporate world in the ed tech sector. It was a pretty demanding job. I did a lot of travel, but I still kind of kept this Amazon thing on the side. It was my side hustle. It paid for our Christmas stuff. It paid for some vacations. It was great. But I really didn't look at everything as a business. I just looked at it as extra money, and that was fine for what it was. Like hindsight's 2020. Had I wished I looked at it as an actual like business back then, I think we'd be in a lot different place today. But anyway, it is what it is. And it served me really, really well for a lot of years. So fast forward to 2019, and I was invited onto the Walmart platform, and I was like, shoot, why not? Another platform. Yeah, I could take a look, kind of poke around. It wasn't like I was thinking I was going to sell a lot on Walmart, but it was just like, it's always good to know what the competition's doing. And then in 2020, COVID happened, and reselling basically was like you really couldn't pick a bad product during COVID. Everything was selling for more. And my Amazon store just blew up. So Walmart kind of took a back seat during that time because just everything we bought, we could sell it on Amazon, which was great. Um, so then I started taking Walmart a little more seriously once COVID started kind of dying back down, started putting some more things, especially in Q4, onto Walmart. And in 2021, I actually left the corporate world to sell full time in the e-commerce world. And so we'd already hit our $1 million in a year. I felt at that point comfortable that I could support myself. And then my son was working for me full time before I went full time. So thought we had enough that we could support both salaries, and made the leap into full time reselling. And then in 2022, we basically just outgrew my house. I had about 2,800 square foot home. Me and my two dogs lived there. I would say about 2,400 square feet was storage, and about 400 square feet was what I lived in. So it really wasn't a good work-life balance being in there. So we actually made the move into a warehouse. Around that time, we also did a collaboration with some friends I have in the space, and we started The Village, which is a paid Facebook group to help support Amazon and Walmart sellers. And then last year I started the wow kind of stuff, the winning on Walmart, where I created a course that people can kind of have a self-paced course that teaches them what they need to do on the Walmart platform. I created the free Facebook group. I then started a Q4 group. I have a mastermind group now. And this isn't to sell you any of that stuff. It's just kind of where my journey has taken me. So I'm doing a lot of teaching and support, um, which I love because it takes me back to my teaching roots. And because I worked in the technology spectrum, whatever you call it, that kind of really fits really nicely with the teaching because I understand the tech part of it really well as well. So what did my Walmart journey look like? And these are real numbers. It doesn't include my Q4 from last year because I just haven't updated it. But you can see I didn't even register down here like what my sales were at the very beginning because they were just hit and miss. So the first couple of years were really, really slow. And then you kind of see that uptick going into Q4 of 21. And then you kind of see me back off again. And then, oh, yeah, Q4 of 22, like I had really big growth because I really, really focused on pushing products into Walmart. And that's when I really kind of saw the power that Walmart had as a platform for moving things that weren't moving as well over on Amazon. So in 2023, we were more steady. One of my like goals was to have consistent shipments all year because that's really what hurt me in previous years was being just very sporadic with it. So you can see the consistency more in those numbers. And again, super awesome hockey stick growth in Q4 of 2023. And then you see how explosive the numbers are in 2024. And although I don't have the Q4 on here, it was a very, very strong Q4 for us. And these are the yearly numbers, and these are 2024 is almost completely accurate. So, barely registering in 2019 and 2020, doing okay in 2021. It was a nice little like thing to get rid of some bad product. 2022, a little more serious about it. More than doubled in 2023, more than doubled again in 2024. And we think that we can more than double moving into 2025. And I don't show this from a standpoint of, oh, look at me. I show this to you guys to show you like, it's not overnight that this will happen for most people. It takes consistency and it takes kind of time to build your acumen in Walmart, but it's possible on Walmart. Like good, strong numbers are possible. And I think some people kind of like don't look at Walmart as something that can be that way. So here's another, I'm always like super transparent with my numbers, guys. Like I don't mind sharing anything. These are our sales. I don't know what's going on over here in 2019 because that doesn't look right. But anyway, in 2020, yeah, maybe that was because yeah, I was kind of still side hustling here. So here's where my son started working full time during the COVID years. And then also in 2021 and the end of 2021 is when I left. But what I really want on this graph for you to see is the difference each year between the orange and the blue. So the orange are my Amazon sales, the blue are my Walmart sales. So you can see like here, Walmart was just barely a smidge of what I actually was doing overall in e-commerce. And it grew the next year. It really grew in 2023. And then it grew even further in 2024. We were about 30% of our total sales on Walmart in 2024. And I think in 2025, we'll be close to 50-50. And what I like about that is being able to diversify and spread my risk between the platforms. So if you're only on Walmart, that's fine. If you're only on Amazon, it's fine. I think there's something to be said about diversifying and spreading that risk around. And so maybe you sell on Walmart and Etsy or Walmart and eBay or Walmart and you do real estate. But I think like making sure all your eggs aren't in one basket is kind of an important thing because we just never know what's going to happen. So let's really talk about selling on Walmart, pros and cons. On the left are the major pros. Number one, it's free. It costs you nothing to have an account. I have friends who have had an account for 3 years and just started actually listing and selling items. So if you think like, yeah, I'm doing okay with what I'm doing, I don't really need Walmart, it's fine. But if you ever do need Walmart, it's better to have the account ready to go. Also, if you sell on Amazon and you get deactivated, that means you're not going to be able to use your Amazon storefront to help you get the Walmart account because Walmart is, I'll talk about it in a second, much more strict about being able to get approved. And so they want a history of selling online. So getting that account and having that kind of like in your back pocket, I think is a wise thing to do. There are lower fees overall. So there's just, we don't experience things on Walmart currently like placement fees. There's some stuff happening with some beta testing with placement fees, but currently most sellers don't have placement fees. We don't have split shipments like you do on Amazon. The overall just fulfillment fees and referral fees are cheaper. We don't have any kind of low inventory fees. So there's just a lot less fees, which of course means better profit for you. So that's always good. There's also less gating. So there are products that are gated, there are brands that are gated, but they are fewer than what they are on Amazon. And Walmart, I think, has done a good job so far if they make a change to that of giving you enough leeway and ramp to be able to sell off your products. We have been seeing more restrictions in beauty happening, but they usually give us about 6 weeks to sell product off, not 24 hours. So even when that does happen, which is disappointing, it seems like they're being very reasonable with people about letting them sell through product. There's less competition. Currently, not nearly as many sellers over on the Walmart platform, but it's growing every day. So that just means like instead of competing against 35 people on a Lego listing, you might be competing with 8 to 10. So that means you see the buy box usually more often. People sell out, your price can go up. Like there's just a lot around having that lesser competition. There's a lot of listings I'm on that there are 1 to 3 people selling it. So those are just golden little moments that you have to cherish as long as they last. Typically the sell prices are higher. Walmart is getting a little more like particular with comparing to Amazon or Target in terms of staying competitive with price. But if like Amazon sells something for $22.99, you might be able to inch it over to like $24.99 on Walmart and get those extra $2 in price point, which of course with the lesser fees means even more profit in your pocket. And then I talked a little bit about the diversification of just, making sure all your eggs aren't in one basket because that's just, I think, super, super important. I am gonna open this chat window up here. I'm sorry. I've got like 3 screens. So if you see my eyeballs going different places, it's just because I'm looking at different things. Feel free to post questions. I may not get it right away, but I'll go back and make sure I answer all questions. So if I talk about something, you're like, ooh, I have a question about that, post it. And I'll try to either cover it or stop and answer the question. And I'll open it up for questions too. We are going to be using Martyr in a minute, but no, this is a beginning Walmart kind of session. And then we'll use Martyr at the end with some sourcing to talk about how we make buying decisions. Okay, so kind of the downside about selling on Walmart, because again, I always like to be transparent. It's not all, roses over here on Walmart. The UI, like what you're interacting with for Walmart on their screen can be a little clunky. They are improving it all the time. So, you just kind of have to have a little bit of patience when things aren't quite as smooth and as slick looking. So that combined with the second bullet that there's some glitchiness that happens, like sometimes You hit a button and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, like there was some kind of error. Try again. Like uh and it even like there's even a statement like if you click it, it says like a glitch happened. Like they actually say that. And so it's like it's kind of some glitchiness that happens. It's not all the time, but there's sometimes when I have to just stop and walk away and do other tasks and let Walmart get their stuff together for an hour, and come back and try to finish it later. So you just have to have a little bit of patience because you have to understand like Amazon, like I said, it's been around 25 years. They didn't have an app for 15 years over at Amazon. We didn't have Keepa for a lot of those years. Like there's just a lot of things we didn't have. We didn't have FBA for most of those first 15 years. So Walmart's moving much faster in comparison to Amazon. But when you compare Walmart today to Amazon today, like it's like the difference of a toddler and a teenager. So, Amazon is the angsty teenager that, complains and like says, oh, you need to send me these documents and like, oh, okay, it kind of gets that way. Whereas Walmart's just like excited to see you and whatever, but they still have accidents and, want a snack and those kind of things. So like it's just kind of it's a different kind of like environment to work within from a technology standpoint. It is more time consuming currently. So item setup, especially for WFS items, takes a lot more time. The good news is you've seen some sneak peeks on the Martyr page and the WoW page, depending where you're here from, about Inventory Falcon, which is a tool that the guys at Martyr are in the midst of. We're beta testing it, trying to get all the glitches worked out to try to help that item creation process be much faster for everyone. And essentially, like even the shipment process be faster because it is such a clunky, ugly process inside of Walmart itself. So currently, when you're creating WFS items, like it can just be a little brutal sometimes. There's less robust data available, less third-party tools. That is still true, but I think third-party vendors like Martyr are doing a lot to compile their own data so that we can provide at least as much information to you guys as possible. And when I say we, I mean them. I'm not part of Martyr, so I just support them because I really like what they're doing. So there's just less data. So like you aren't going to see a 3-4 year history of data like you do in Keepa. Like I said, I sold in the days before Keepa even existed. Still had great success selling, but definitely Keepa makes it easier on Walmart. And I think we're going to see these tools get better and better. The major issue is Walmart currently is not sharing all of those pieces of data like Amazon does. So they're holding a lot of that data close to their vest. And so it makes it harder on the third party vendors who are creating tools to get data, from Walmart. So they're just basically having to compile it themselves. Um, it is slower velocity on Walmart. You're not going to sell for most products at the same rate that you would if that product was on Amazon. But there are exceptions. I had a pet product that I had pallets of last year, and we sent it into both Walmart and Amazon, and it sold equally as fast on both platforms. Um, I probably have like maybe 10 or 12 items like that on Walmart. But for the most part, like stuff just does not sell as fast. However, because there are less sellers, it can seem like it's selling faster. So, like if it's just you and one other person, it may feel very fast, even though the number of units sold in a month is different than what it would be on Amazon. Okay, I see a question. Will there be any improvement on notifications in terms of orders or customer inquiries? Even though I have them all set up, I still do not get them fast enough or not at all. Are you talking about from Walmart themselves? Um, I will say when it comes to orders, I actually use a third party. I use Vico, and Vico does auto confirmations of all orders. And then I log into Vico 2 to 3 times a day to process shipments. Customer inquiries, I check twice a day, first thing in the morning and before I go home from the warehouse in the afternoon. I don't rely on email for any of that. So I just go into the platform because both the shipping and response to customers are tied to your performance. It's critical enough for me to make sure that that is happening. If you can set a time and check it once a day, that should be adequate to meet your metrics. But I do it a minimum of twice a day, just because maybe we have a little more going on. Okay. So if you are not currently on Walmart yet, you don't have an account, you want to go on and apply to sell as quickly as you can. I have a link here. It may or may not expedite it. I've been kind of told it will, but I don't know. I don't know. They just tell me that so that I'll send my link out to people. So it is a link. I'm happy to share it with you guys. Actually, I could post it in the chat too for you guys. But know that when you apply, there's basically three major elements to be approved. You have to have an EIN. That's an employee identification number from the government. It is free to get one. Do not use the websites that charge you because it's absolutely free. So you just go to this website that I have here on this slide, and do this little application about your business name, and all that good stuff, and they will assign you an EIN. So you need that EIN when you apply on Walmart. And then the business name has to match everything. So it has to match what you just applied on your EIN, and it has to match bank records, and it has to match IRS records if you have them from previous years. So whatever information you're supplying to basically show them that this is your business name, that needs to match the EIN. And that's one of the major reasons people get rejected on Walmart, is that their business information doesn't match up. And then the other thing that you're going to need is a history of selling online. If you have never sold online before, I would recommend either selling on Amazon or selling on eBay for a period of at least 3 months, and then come back and apply to Walmart. They are being more selective than those other entities are, because they want people who are serious about selling. Um, that's just kind of what it is. It doesn't have to be an Amazon store link. You can use an eBay link. You can use Shopify. You can use Etsy. So if you're selling other places, you can use those. But you need one of those to actually kind of get through that application process. All right. So now let's talk about sourcing for Walmart. The first thing I like to talk about, and we'll talk about all of these sourcing methods, is just it's something I learned when I worked in the technology sector. Whenever we were developing a new piece of software, or maybe revamping older software, and doing some major updates to it, they always talked about the customer story. And the customer story basically is you putting on kind of the hat of who's going to be using the product, and thinking, how are they going to use it and what are the benefits of them using it? So if I'm making, we did educational software. So if I put on my superintendent hat, how would a superintendent use this software and what benefits does he get from it? And then if I put on my teacher hat, what does this product do for the teacher that makes their life easier, better, makes them a better teacher, that kind of thing. So it's just like putting on those different hats. So I kind of applied that when I started looking into how to source for Walmart, because I really understand, I think, the typical Amazon customer. I've been selling on that platform a quarter of a century now, which is terrifying to say out loud. Um, So I really, a lot of my gut instincts, like, are just from all those years of experience. And like, I'm very rarely wrong. Like, when I look at products, especially new things to hit the market, I can pretty much say, like, that's going to do well on Amazon, or I really don't think that's going to sell well. And I typically am correct. Not to brag, but it's just like all of that history, in my head of things that I've seen that worked and didn't work. And I've bought duds in my life. I'm not 100%, but I do pretty well. When I first went to Walmart, I took that with me and with listings on Walmart and not understand why they weren't moving. And so what I had to do is kind of go back to that like customer story and say, like, who is the Walmart customer that's getting on to shop on walmart.com, and maybe how are they different than the Amazon customer? You know, what does that look like? And I think once I kind of like tried to put myself in that position, it started to become a little more clear to me why certain products worked and certain products didn't. And here's an example. I had purchased uh, three summers ago, 3 summers ago, um, over a truckload of sunscreen. And I mean, this sunscreen was flying on Walmart. It was probably one of the best products I've ever sold on Walmart. We had 10 or 12 different variations of sunscreen. And pretty much all of them were just like, we couldn't even replenish them fast enough. Like, the low inventory fees would have killed me if it was a thing back then. Because like we'd send 1,000 units in, and like before we could like get the next 1,000 prep, like we literally were sold out. It was insane. But I took part of that truckload and thought, I'm going to send it to Walmart and see how it does. And one of these products was a kids banana boat, so name brand banana boat sunscreen that was a blue foam. So like it came out as blue and you would rub it and then the blue would disappear. So like, oh yeah, kids think that's super cool. Selling really, really great on Amazon. I sent that product in and I sold like 3 units total. And so that really made me scratch my head and go like, huh. But then I'm thinking about a lot of, and this is, please don't, I'm not stereotyping, but I am stereotyping. But like a lot of people that walk into Walmart are not buying the bougie sunscreen. They're buying the Equate brand. They're buying what's on sale. They have families, they have less money to spend. So they're looking for the bargains, the products that just get the job done. And I think, while I sold a 2-pack on Amazon of that sunscreen for $29.99, that price point for a Walmart customer would be a little bit shocking, especially several years ago. I think Walmart customers have come a little bit with us, but back then, like, ooh, that was really expensive. So once I kind of like stepped back and said, like, okay, let me just look at kind of like those basic products that you walk into Walmart and you're putting in your cart every time you walk in. So deodorant, shampoo, toothpaste, anything in the food section, maybe some socks, maybe some underwear. Maybe you go back into electronics and you need an extension cord, or, so like just kind of thinking more basic really did my store a lot better. Obviously in Q4, toys are amazing, but I was during the year really trying to get back to what would sell. Vitamins, protein powder, those kind of things. Like all that did really, really well for me. So you just have to stop, like, not take your assumptions if you sold on Walmart before into Walmart. I think you really have to treat it as its own type of thing. It's just like I wouldn't sell blue foaming sunscreen on Etsy or eBay most likely. Like I just wouldn't be things that I would put over there personally. So I just kind of say that, like, take it for whatever you want, but it was a learning experience for me because it took me a year and a half to kind of really start seeing success because I think I was so, I've been selling on Amazon for so many years, like that was my life. So I had to kind of like stop and reset for Walmart. And I really had to literally like put my Walmart hat on when I sourced, take that off, put my Amazon hat on when I sourced. Now I can kind of flip a lot faster because I get it and I understand it more. But when I was beginning, it really was more, I had to put blinders on and only pay attention to one thing at a time. All right, so different sourcing methods for Walmart. I think one of the best things you can do starting on Walmart is to send your death pile items. As long as they are in new condition, and they haven't been destroyed by whoever returned them, things that you got back that like they just weren't selling on Amazon, it's a good, it's just a good kind of like place to start to get to learn the Walmart platform. Things that Amazon, sent back, or maybe you got gated in, and you have a whole bunch of those, you want to send those in. Those I think are all great places to start and help you kind of understand listing items and maybe if you want to sell or fulfill those before you actually WFS, which is sending them in. Second thing is typical RA. Scan, scan, scan some more. Use the Martyr app, which is awesome to help you make better buying decisions. We'll show Martyr and I'll show you kind of how I look at the different elements of Martyr to make those buying decisions. Um, we didn't have Martyr initially with Walmart, so we were kind of like guessing. It was like, oh, Walmart sells this, or does Walmart not sell this? And are there other sellers selling this? There was just not a lot of data to go on. Then you could actually look on the Walmart.com website, look for products that are fast movers and kind of reverse source from there. So that's a way that you can find products for Walmart. You can also storefront stock. You can use Martyr to do that, or you can just do that online at Walmart.com. Amazon to Walmart flips do really well. Nepeto is great for that. Flip Alert, Keepa, and now there's MOA, which is Martyr Online. That all of those are tools that can help you with that. Walmart to Walmart flips. I think Flip Alert might have some of that in there if you have that tool. And soon, hopefully, we'll have some of that kind of stuff happening over in MOA as well. Um, you can do OA with the Martyr Chrome extension. So you can be on like DisneyStore.com, right click, open up Martyr, see if the product is over on Walmart and what it's selling for. And then leads list. Right now, the only two places I know of for Walmart leads are myself, and my list is currently full, but you can get on the wait list. And then OA Hunt has started a Walmart list as well. So those are just different methods. But let's actually talk about buying decisions and how you make those. So there are basically three levers I like to think of when I'm making a decision about whether or not a product would be good to sell on Walmart. The first one is profit. Is it profitable? Like if it's selling for $10, but I have to pay 7, I'm not going to make any money on that. But if I'm paying 7 and it's selling for 24, like I really like that profit. So that kind of like will take me into the next level or next lever to see, is it something I want to sell? So the second one is velocity. How fast is it selling? This is the hardest one for Walmart. We have estimated sales with Martyr, and there are other tools too. I've tried most of them. So there's like Sellify, there's Bizmetrica or Bizmetrics, something like that. I've tried that one. I've tried Sellify. There's probably others. But velocity is the hardest one because, again, currently we don't have that information coming from Walmart. Martyr's got some stuff that they're going to be launching that's going to make that much better. But it's how fast is it going to sell? How many should I look at buying? If Martyr is telling you 2 or 3, that doesn't turn me away from a product because usually those numbers are a little low, but it does mean I might only try to buy 10 instead of buying 30. If it says it's selling 30 on Martyr, I might buy 50. So I kind of like go a little bit higher on that, but if you're more conservative, you could buy five and see like how fast they sell and then go back and buy more. And then the third lever I look at is my competition. Are there other people selling it, and who are those people? Is Walmart one of them? Are they selling it WFS versus seller fulfilled? That's important information. And we'll talk about that as we look at Martyr. So I'm going to pull up an example and we'll talk through it. But there is a question here. What is the amount for WOW and OA flips? OA Hunt, maybe? Um, I I know Derek does have some openings right now on OA Hunt leads. I think I want to say it's like 189 for 30 leads a week. It's 189 a month. Um, Mine is 189 a month for 50 leads a week. I think that's right, but you can check the website for that. But I have a wait list right now. I only have 20 slots for the leads. It's currently full, but if you get on the wait list and someone drops the next month, I just go by the wait list. And I can give you guys info at the end if you're interested in looking into that. But let's look at an example. So we're going to pull up, and I just want to make sure. Do you guys see Walmart? Can someone unmute and tell me that you see Walmart? Okay, yeah.
Yes, we see Tracy. I see it.
Perfect. Thanks, Tanique. Okay, so Starbucks coffee. Coffee is a great seller. Typical staple in a lot of people's pantries, especially seasonal and flavored coffees. Seasonal coffees are great because when they go out of season, the price goes up. So you see that here. If you're looking at the different flavors, we have the 14.97 across the board until you hit the fall blend. Fall blend for Starbucks comes out in late August, early September, and tends to stop being restocked early December because they bring in peppermint mocha and their Christmas blend. So you can still find these some Walmarts. So if you're out and you see it, I would definitely scan it. You might see it start appearing in places like Ollie's or Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Big Lots, if you saw the Big Lots around you getting merchandise. So some of those kind of places, this kind of product will trickle in. Yeah, let me just start that again. Okay, so we have a $34.99 price on this, which obviously I'm like, oh yeah, that's an amazing price for this coffee, even if I had bought it at full price. Um, but let's look at a couple other things about the Walmart.com site. So the first thing is this badge. So Walmart has badges that they assign to products that say like bestseller, and then it may say something like 500 plus in people's carts or 500 plus sold in the last day. Or so like depending on the products, you're going to see like little blue badges. Those are really great indicators of fast moving products. Now, this one is on a variation listing, so you kind of don't know which of the variations are the better selling ones. Um, so you kind of have to dig into each one, but I will say overall, Starbucks coffee sells well. Again, flavored coffee, seasonal coffee. We see that there's other flavors. There's peppermint mocha. The price is going up because that's out of stock, out of season. Maple pecan is out of season. I'm surprised pumpkin spice is that cheap. But you can just see like lots of different flavors here at this 22 pack that would be good. Okay. Also on the Walmart site. So I'm doing this because if you don't have Martyr, I want to show you what you can look at on Walmart if you don't have Martyr at all. So we know $34.99 is a good price. Okay. We want to scroll down and see who is selling it. So this looks like there's only one seller selling it. And if I click here, it's going to show me who that seller is. Actually, there's two sellers, so Walmart is kind of doing its typical Walmart thing and being glitchy. So we have two sellers. One's at $34.99, one's at $32.50 plus shipping. So those are your competition. So you know, like the worst case scenario is selling it for $34.99. Um, in my head, if I don't have Martyr, I use what I call, and this is an old Amazon phrase, so you might have heard it if you've been around a while, the rule of thirds. And the rule of thirds used to be on Amazon. Whatever the price you buy it for, you need to triple that. And if you can sell it for that much, you're going to make a really great profit. So if something's $10 and you can sell it for 30, you pretty much knew you were safe to buy it. Amazon definitely is not like that anymore because the fees have gone up so dramatically in the last 3 to 4 years. But Walmart kind of is still around that area. It doesn't hold as true if an item is super heavy, but just like your typical items, it really does kind of hold true. So that means that I could spend like $11 on this, and I should know pretty much I'm gonna make some good profit on this item. So I can see my competition here. The things that I can't sell, well, let me show you a couple other things. I also can see how many ratings the product has. This has a phenomenal number of ratings, 8,000. Most Walmart products have less than 10. So that's just gonna, like, I'm just telling you, like, again, this one flies. And then let's see, anything else here? I think that's probably all that we can extract from this. Oh, one more thing. Um, Down here, um, the shipping button here, if Walmart was a seller, so let's say Walmart was currently selling this product. Let me find one where I can actually get it from Walmart. Yes, so this one says sold and shipped by Walmart. If it's sold and shipped by Walmart, but this shipping button is not active, that means it's only available in local stores for local delivery. And that is still a good item to maybe look into buying because that means if you are shipping it out, you would get some sales outside of the area that you're in because people in other areas might not be able to get it from their local Walmart. So that's just kind of a little tip there. But let's look at, let me go back to our fall blend and let's look at Martyr and the additional data that we get with Martyr. I don't know why that's opening on both sides, but okay. So the first thing that I see up here is I can see a comparison price for what it's selling for on Amazon. So I know it sells on Amazon for a little less money. Remember, I talked about how you can always get a little bit more out of Walmart. So it sells for $32.15 on Amazon. It also is going to give us from Keepa the number of units per month that this is selling on Amazon. So on Amazon, it's selling 136 a month. Conservatively, I use about 10% of that to kind of gauge how many I maybe wanted to buy. So like I think I probably could sell like 13 or 14 maybe of these. I probably could sell more of those, but just conservatively 13 to 14. So that kind of maybe can help you get started on making decisions. Um, Also, I can come down here and see it does have two sellers. I can actually see what my fees are. So there's my WSF's cost. Referral fees are the percentage that's applied for product, whether you're seller fulfilling or WFS fulfilling. In this case, it would be 15% because it's above $15 for the grocery item. And so that gets us to that $5.25 referral fee. The WFS cost is if you send it to Walmart, it's what they're charging you to get the item put in a box and ship it to somebody. So $3.45 because this is small, it's light, it doesn't weigh very much. So the WFS fees are very low. So it makes sense to ship this to Walmart and let Walmart ship it because it's going to cost me a minimum of probably $5 to ship it myself. So that's kind of how I make decisions around what I seller fulfill versus WFS. Also, when you are a WFS seller, items typically will sell faster for you because you get buy box preference and you can price about 5% higher than seller fulfilled items and still get the buy box. So they really lean into the WFS to try to help those people move their products faster. I do see the questions. I'll get to them in just a moment when I get to a little pause break. So let's say that I was able to buy this product. We'll just say $10. I'm sure you could buy it for a lot less than that at this point. So if I bought this for $10, Marty's going to tell you what your profit would be based upon these referral fees and the sale price. So if I sell it for $35, I'm going to make $16, which is an amazing ROI. So like this is, again, as a product, I definitely would pick up and scan and put it in my cart. They also estimate that this sells 39 times a month. So that's a little more than my 10% estimate, but I'm probably going to say that's probably pretty accurate because I've sold a lot of Starbucks coffee on Walmart and it sells pretty well. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this sells a lot more than 39 a month. But based upon reviews, Martyr is being more conservative with that. And we're going to get some more accurate estimate sales from Martyr in the very, very near future. All right, so I'm gonna pause and answer some of these questions. Would I ever do a Walmart to Walmart flip? Absolutely. I would only buy from Walmart as the seller, though. I will not buy from third-party sellers to flip. I just I don't like Walmart is not as invoice driven. Like if something messes up or they ask you, like they could ask you for an invoice, 100%. Doesn't happen a lot. But I just don't want to risk any kind of third party selling me, something fake or close to expiration date or anything like that. It's just much easier to deal with Walmart directly with those kinds of things. Have I noticed the data on how many sales on Amazon is incorrect? No, because the number of sales on Amazon is coming from Keepa. And that is actual sales data that is provided by Amazon. So it's not an estimate anymore. It used to be an estimate on Amazon, but now it is actual sales information. So those are very, very accurate for Amazon because like I said, they come out of Keepa. WFS is exactly like FBA. You prep your products, send them to Walmart fulfillment centers, and then when that sells, they ship it to the customer and they handle the customer service. Um, yeah, that's a whole nother discussion. Like shipping in is cheaper. Like there's a lot of benefits from WFS. It's ridiculous how much cheaper it is to ship into Walmart than it is Amazon. So we love WFS. We ship 99% of our stuff WFS. The 1% we probably hold back are just things that are super fast moving that we want to sell while it's hot. Seasonal items that we can't get in fast enough before the season ends. That's really the only two things. Or large oversized items where shipping it in costs us so much money, and also the WFS fees are a lot because of the weight and dimensions. So like I've sold generators, I've sold paint sprayers. We do those, we ship those ourselves because it just ends up being the better profit for us. All right, so keep moving down here. This revenue number just is based upon the estimated sales times the sales price. So I don't really pay attention to this number. I pay more attention to what's the profit, what's the ROI, how many can I sell. If you keep scrolling down on Martyr, we do see a history of the price. So we can see, the price has been up since November. We did have this weird drop. It looks like nobody was in stock. That's what that is. And then someone came back in stock. And I can change this. So if I go out 180 days, you can see it still was pretty high back here and that may be because maybe Walmart wasn't shipping it. Looks like maybe right there they had some in stock. We can actually see the sellers, what they're selling it for. We can see how many they have in stock. This is really important. So You could have two sellers, but someone has 1,000 in stock. And so if you can't compete on their price, that's going to be a tough thing to buy. We can also see how much Walmart has in stock, and I'll show you an example of that here in a minute. And that's good information because if something Walmart is slowly selling out of it, we can try to hit that item as Walmart sells out. And we also see how it's being fulfilled. Both of these people are seller fulfilling this item. So that tells me that if I sent it in WFS, I could probably raise this by about 5%, which would be about 36, maybe 50, 36.49, which means I'm making even more profit if I send it in WFS. A little bit about verified reviews. Currently, this is how Martyr determines the estimated sales. Verified reviews are making sure the review came from somebody who actually made their purchase on Walmart.com. So vendors can actually import reviews from their vendor website. So like Blackstone Grills can import all of their reviews that are on blackstonegrill.com, and they can import reviews from a Shopify site and all this other stuff. But those aren't things that were sold on Walmart. So it kind of inflates the review count. So Martyr actually pulls out and only looks at the things that are actually bought on Walmart.com and then reviewed to actually give you those sales. Also really enjoy looking at this buy box history. I want to make sure the buy box is being shared. Looks like it's being shared really nicely over here over the last 90 days. This is probably more important when Walmart's in stock, so you can see if other people are winning the buy box away from Walmart. So if you aren't familiar with Martyr, I mean, literally, guys, like I don't recommend tools that I don't personally use and I don't believe in. And I believe in this one and I use it every day. And the thing I love about the guys at Martyr is they listen to their customers and they will implement changes. They'll implement new features and things as you give them feedback. If you're not part of the Martyr Facebook group, make sure you join. And if you're a part of it, make sure you share things. Even if it's like, hey, this didn't work today. Like, look at my screen, share a screenshot. Like, Ito is so good about working with you and trying to figure out what the problem is. I've had a problem with Martyr last month that it kind of happened for about a week. And I don't know how many hours he spent with me trying to figure out and then making a fix for it so it wouldn't happen again. We never really figured out what the root cause was. He thinks it's maybe another extension that's interfering, but he was able to program something so that it works now again. So don't sit and be frustrated. Like they're great. They're great to work with. And if you have a great suggestion on how to make the product better for Walmart sellers, you should absolutely drop it in there. The last thing I'll mention about Martyr before we go to another item is this alert button. If you're not using this, this right here is worth 100% of your subscription dollars. So let's say I don't know which one of these is like the most recent one to come out. We're just going to pretend. We're going to pretend that this was like a newly released flavor, okay? And I want to buy this when it goes on sale, like when maybe Walmart marks it down online. I can set an alert and say, I want an email when the WFS lowest price is less than $11.99 because I want to buy some. And I'll save this alert and then I don't have to worry about it. Martyr's going to email me any day that happens so that then I can go back in and I can make the purchase. So this is great for monitoring price. It's great for monitoring stock counts. It's great for monitoring competition. So if somebody has 1,000 of something and you want to know when they sell out so that maybe you can hop on that listing, you can monitor that. So really, really, you should lean in and use those alerts and play around with them because there's invaluable information that you can gain from using the alerts that Martyr has. All right, let's look at least one more product. I know we've been going for an hour, but let me try to find one that Walmart sells. I'm gonna look at Valentine's stuff. Will probably be. Let me just see if I can get some Valentine candy. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Um, this one says bestseller, so I'm gonna open that one and see what we get. Oh, yes. Jackpot. I didn't even do this before, so that was just like lucky guess. And I'll show you what I love about this product. So this product is a bestseller right here, okay? Obviously, we're very close to Valentine's Day, so probably not enough time to do any kind of WFS of this item, but you could merchant fulfill it if you could find it. Why I love this product is this right here. See this shipping out of stock? So Walmart is selling it. Personally, I can get it delivered to me. I can pick it up. That's great. But not everybody in the nation is going to have that. And because Walmart isn't shipping, that means their only option is going to be a third party seller. So if I go over here to Martyr, I see that there are 6 people currently selling this. So Walmart has it for $3.97. And then we have other people who are on it. They've got to be, hang on. Let me see if they're charging shipping. There's no way. Yep, they're charging shipping. So 588 plus $5 shipping. So they're selling it for 1088. Still to me a little cheap. Doesn't leave a lot of profit. I don't really like that. I like something closer to yeah, the 790 with $6 shipping. But as people are getting closer and closer to Valentine's Day, like maybe tomorrow, that'd probably be the last day you could sell it. That product's going to be great. But this product is going to be still great picking it up on clearance at your local Walmart after Valentine's Day. You'll be able to pick it up for $2. And I'm telling you, people do not care that these have these little whatevers on the packages. They just like the fact that they're watermelon and what green apple and they're Jolly Ranchers, and they're gonna pay those things. These things will go up to like $13.99, $15.99, all day, every day. So you may have to kind of fidget with the price plus shipping versus the price. It may take it a minute to recognize that you're competing against more expensive sellers. You can see up here on Amazon, this sells 30,000 units a month, which is just bananas. Like that's a banana amount. But I know this product sells a lot. I personally have sold this product in the past, so but I love that because it's out of stock over here. So that's great. All right, let's just pick another one and see if we can. Let me. This is another one I like selling after the holidays. So I will go and buy this half off clearance. Anything Reese's peanut butter cup, whether it's your hearts or your pumpkins or your Christmas trees or whatever it is for Easter. I don't eggs. I guess it's eggs. These typically will go up in price as well. So this is 1075, and if you can grab this for again $2.25, if that's your buy cost, let's put that in over here. So $2.25, and let's say you sell it for $10.99. I mean, you're making over 100% ROI. And with Walmart, I don't have to label it as long as the UPC matches the bag. I don't have to put any label on it. So I literally am just picking it up from Walmart, emptying it out of the bag, and putting it in a box and shipping it right back to Walmart to sell. My favorite kind of products to do. So all right, I'm gonna take a pause. If you have questions, you're welcome to like turn your sound on and ask it or post it in the group. Like I said, I'll do a more heavy sourcing session, probably in a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, that I'll invite everybody to in both of the groups. But we never really had done anything that was kind of more start, kind of beginner level. So I wanted to provide that to you guys.
Hey, Tracy, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I am still struggling with the ungating process with Walmart, since they don't really have a clearly defined what you need to send in.
Yeah.
So, because I'm still trying to get Ungated in Legos, and I've been emailing them probably since November, and they'll come back with some weird questions, and I'm like, I don't know what you want because I've sent them my actual Walmart receipt where I have purchased tons of Legos.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. I just actually got an email today so I can show everybody what that looks like. So bear with me. I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment so I can get that email and pull it up so that I can share it.
Yeah, I just want to see if you had any tips and trip because it's just, oh God, it's like we're going in circles with what that and Disney, just the things that I buy from
Yeah,
Walmart that I'm trying
and
to
it
send
is
back to them.
really important to try to get those things ungated as quickly as possible. You don't want to wait till Q4 because they get really, really backed up during Q4. And so if you apply during Q4, chances are you're not going to get approved during Q4. I know that I sent some things in November that I just now I'm getting emailed back from. Um, so da, da, da. Okay, it's not this one. Here it is. Not that email. I literally, before I left today, got the email. Maybe this is it. Okay, I'm just going to snap a little screenshot here so I don't give any of my personal information away. Okay, let me share again. Okay, so this was for Elf on the Shelf. Um, Luckily I could sell it on Amazon, but I really would have rather sold it on Walmart. But it is what it is. I didn't ungate it prior, so there you go. So when you want to ungate a brand on Walmart or a category, there are certain categories like uh I think it's called like prestige beauty or something like that. It's something where I could sell like expensive perfumes and things like that. Um, you actually open a case. This is how you deal with almost everything at Walmart, which is kind of an email process. And you open up the case with trust and safety, and you just basically say like, "Hey, I really want to sell this product. It's in my catalog. I want to sell this Lego. I want to sell this Elf on the Shelf toy. Please let me know what I need to do to be able to sell it or to ungate it or whatever, however you want to phrase it." And you send that off into the interwebs and you wait. And typically they're pretty fast, but like I said, Q4 was just, I think they had a whole lot of new sellers, a whole lot of ungating requests, and they just got completely bogged down. So they're just kind of still working through those Q4 requests. So this came back today from a November case. I opened up the case November 28th. And it said, like, hey, we noticed you have toys such as Elf on the Shelf in your inventory. And I'm like, yeah, duh. That's why I emailed you. And it's like, but before you can sell this, you've got to be pre-approved by the trust and safety team. And so you have to answer these bulleted questions back to them. So I typically just copy and paste these bullets and I put my answer in like color it in red or color it in a color so they can see I answered it. What product types will be listed in the toy category? So for Elf on the Shelf, like it would be plushes, dolls, doll accessories, all the things that Elf on the Shelf kind of makes. So I would just kind of answer that. What brands will I be offering? Well, this is around Elf on the Shelf, so I say Elf on the Shelf. All items on hand? This is a critical question because they're trying to weed out drop shippers. They want to know that you have the product physically to sell it. And that doesn't mean you don't send it into WFS. It just means like you're not selling it and then buying it from somewhere and having it shipped. Like that is against terms of service unless it's directly from the brand or manufacturer and they ship it with your store information on the shipping. This will get you kicked off of Walmart unequivocally, no questions asked, just like it will Amazon. Um, there was just a huge wave of drop shippers kicked off this week. So don't do that. So that one would be a yes. Where are your suppliers located? I always just say United States because I'm buying my products here. Um, so that's I just kind of leave it at that. Because sometimes I do buy from California or I buy from Michigan or I buy from Texas when I'm down there or Kansas or Missouri or wherever. Like it just depends where I'm at or who I'm buying from. But usually it's always United States. How long have I been working with these suppliers? For me, 25 years. So that was kind of nice for me because I buy from Walmart, I buy from Target, I buy from, well, it used to be Toys R Us, I buy from Best Buy, I buy from like all these places I've been buying from for forever. So really, you could say like however long you've been in business, in e-commerce business, is probably how long you've been buying from these people. Are you able to provide your own images and content? Oh my word. So I just had a ton of listings get basically poof disappeared this week off of um, Walmart because Target came in and identified stock images that people had used, not me, I take my own pictures, but other people had used to create listings. I listed on those listings, but I did not create those listings. But because they were stock images, they own the IP to that. So if you ever create a listing yourself, you want to make sure you take your own photos. I preach this so loud all the time because that like photos are IP property more so than even like text or anything else. That's one thing you can really identify. So are you able to provide your own images? Sure, you are, because you're going to have the product in your hand. Do you need to do that? No, most of these listings are going to already be made. Most of these listings are made by Walmart. So, in most of those cases, you don't have to worry about it. But yes, you want to say yes to that. Are you an authorized reseller for each brand you sell? It's okay to say no. Like, we aren't an authorized reseller for a lot of brands that I sell. I have a couple of brand directs. I'm absolutely authorized. I have letters of authorization. I'm not authorized by Lego. I'm not authorized by Magic Mixies. I'm not authorized by Starbucks. So it's okay to say no. They aren't going to deny you just because you say no, but they're just trying to get a handle on, you know, who's authorized. Are your suppliers authorized distributors? They should be. If they're not, you shouldn't be buying from them. So if you're buying from Telegram or if you're buying from, Joe Blow, who just like Facebooked you and said, like, hey, I got great product over here. Sure, I've got supply chain documents. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Don't buy there. Like, don't do it. Buy from authorized distributors, wholesalers, like people like Entertainment Earth, Frontier Wholesale, um, those kind of places, or from like Walmart, Target, places where you can get retail receipts. And then you supply your invoices and or receipts with that and send all that back and then cross your fingers and hope. Now, how many units do you need to buy? They don't tell you. What I do is I try to kill them with as much information as possible. So I try to submit multiple invoices and or receipts from multiple vendors if I can. So like for Lego, I supplied lego.com, Sam's Club, Costco, Walmart, and Target. And I put it all into a PDF and I sent that. I also sent them a copy of my last 180 days sold of Lego from Amazon to say, like, look, I'm selling a ton of it over here. I want to bring it to you. Here are my suppliers. Let's do business, basically. So I just try to give them more information. Have I heard of people who have sent a receipt with one item on it get ungated? I have heard of that. But I've also heard of people starting to get denied. So I wouldn't try to go the cheap low level route. I would try to kind of take a little bit of a higher road and at least provide what you would provide to Amazon. So a minimum of 10 units um, is what I would try to do. That was really a long response, but hopefully helpful.
No, no, that helps me out because I haven't did the Amazon, so I will do the sold from Amazon. And are you like on the Amazon, are you making sure that you have your name and address show up with the PDF that you're sending over to Walmart?
I think I just took like a screen grab and it had my sales name on it, which is the same as my sales name over on Walmart.
Okay,
It's been
thank
like
you.
it's been a long time since I did Lego, so but Lego was the first one I had to ungate because like back when I first started, we didn't have ungating on Walmart. So I got grandfathered into a lot of things.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I got to get my chat back up here. Um, okay. Is there a list we can find somewhere on brands that are gated? Another great question. No, there's not. Um, Walmart doesn't even tell you if you're gated until you try to list the item. So like it's not like Amazon and you like try to list the item and they're like, "No, no, no, you can't list it because you're gated." Walmart's like, "List the item, go all the way through the process. It shows up in your catalog and then it's like big red X that says like error and the error is, "Hey, we require pre-approval." So you actually need to list into your catalog like Lego, just list it with zero available, and then open the case to try to get ungated. So, um, a lot of like discords and things like that are kind of compiling their own lists. Martyr does a good job. Let me show you. I've lost my, hang on a second, I gotta find my screen. Oh, here it is. Right here. So if this is a brand that nobody has reported as gated, you'll just see it in black. But if it's a brand that requires gating, you're gonna see it in yellow. So basically they're crowdsourcing. Let me open up one of these. And you'll see this is Squishmallows, which does require ungating. So it will come up in yellow to basically warn you, like, hey, you can sell this, but you're going to have to get ungated first. Then we have brands like Chi is a good example, I think, that is basically red restricted. No one can sell it other than Walmart and the brand. So yeah, so that's going to come up in red. That's the best case, but it's not going to catch everything because like I know Elf on the Shelf, I think didn't have at the time. I don't think it had been reported enough to turn yellow. So I didn't know that I was going to have to like ungate it when I bought the things. Yeah, right here. So like, let's go ahead and report it. Do you want to report this brand? And basically, after so many people report it, they'll turn it yellow. So that's kind of how that works. Um, and just I can share with you, Disney, Lego, Squishmallows, Magic Mixies. Those are toy brands I know. I know that like prestige beauty, luxury beauty, I don't forget what it's called. That's like an ungating that has to happen. Um, those are ones I know off the top of my head, but there's a lot. I mean, it's not a lot compared to Amazon, but it does happen. Is Walmart as strict as Amazon with picture quality? I wish. There was a really funny picture I found of a squishmallow that literally looked like it was on grandma's couch. It was like this ugly floral yellow orange couch that they had taken a picture of. And so, obviously, if you ever take your own pictures, use editing software like Photo Room or Canva, remove the background, have a white background on it. Walmart does let you have a like lifestyle picture so you can kind of see like this picture here. You know, they let you have pictures like this, but your first picture is supposed to be in a white background. But we are finding listings out there that don't have that. I try to submit better pictures when I can. I open up cases and say like, hey, the main image of this doesn't have a white background. I'm submitting a new image to be replaced. I have success with that about 90% of the time. Sometimes they'll come back and say only the brand can do it. So is what it is. Okay. Email today saying you're approved. Congratulations. Yeah, it still says error. Yeah, sometimes it takes, like Brian said, a few days. Just keep trying, keep refreshing. If it's still within, like, I'd say at least give them a week before you message back and then say like, hey, it's still not working. Um, Sometimes I even will re-upload an item like using a flat file if it's not catching it as being ungated. And sometimes that will snap it out of it. Because sometimes if you've already listed it, like it just sometimes kind of has issues kind of recognizing that. But doing a flat file kind of refreshes the whole listing, which helps. Are I creating new listings for the Walmart platform for items not there all the time, all day, every day? I create so many listings. Like, I don't know. It should be my middle name. It's kind of funny, but it's not. I love creating listings. I've created listings on the Amazon platform for years. I'm a very what's the word for it? Like stickler. Like I get really irritated with people who create bad listings because it makes me upset because they're ruining a product listing and then it's really hard to fix it when you do it in a bad job at it. So I try to teach people how to do it right. Do it right. Do I have a tutorial on this? Sort of like I do talk about it in my course, but I have considered like doing a full-blown kind of mini class on that. um I will say I think one of the key elements with Walmart and creating listings is you really have to understand how Walmart's keywords work. And if you can do that, and then you have to take quality pictures, minimum of five, make sure you fill out all the pieces of information. So minimum of 5 bullet points, or maybe four bullet points, maybe five. A really strong title that's not over explaining the item. Like this one is not a great title. Like honestly, it's not that Walmart does not like that kind of stuff. Um, and then filling out all the like little details that nobody likes to fill out. The reason is Walmart uses what they call a quality score for each of their items. And the higher your quality score, the higher it will get shown in searches. So if you know how to create listings with really high quality scores, you're going to sell more product. And I can tell you, in my mastermind, I actually make listings just for the mastermind people. Like obviously people can eventually find them, but we make them and get on them first. And most of my listings that I make, I have sales within 30 minutes on them. So it's very different than Amazon with having to kind of like rank and all that kind of like I can actually get my listings up and seen very, very quickly and get sales on them. But it's not hard on Walmart. I think it's actually easier than Walmart. Variations are super easy on Walmart if you understand flat files. Um, so there's a lot that makes it kind of easier. And right now with Walmart, there are ways you can do like multi-packs and bundles, and of course that's no longer allowed over on Amazon. So we're kind of taking all that stuff over to Walmart right now. What is the minimum box size for sending WFS shipments? Minimum? I guess like how the minimum that you could put a postage label on. Maybe you mean maximum? Um, it's according to FedEx guidelines, and it's much different than Amazon. You can send a box up to 150 pounds of WFS. I would not recommend it. I think you'll pay way too much in shipping. You better off breaking that apart if you can, or palletizing it if it's something that weighs that much. But you don't have as many restrictions as you do. Like I've done several 60-pound boxes. I've done boxes where I put an extra large and an extra large together. And so maybe it's like 48 inches tall. Um, but I've also sent like a bubble mailer in with stuff in it. So, yeah. So I don't know if I understood your question or answered it, but if not, maybe re-ask it. Um, how difficult is it? Not difficult at all. Bundles allowed. Currently, yes. I'm always going to preface that. Walmart is not, they don't utilize GTNs the same, GS1s the same way that Amazon does. GS1s are,
Ones.
oh,
Oh,
Yolanda, do you want to
Yolanda, do you
re-ask
want
your
to re-ask
question?
your question?
Oh, well, I'll wait until you finish and
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
reword it. Thank you.
All right. You might
All
mute
right, you
because I
might
think there's
mute
an
because I think
echo.
there's an echo.
Okay. Um, So GS1s are basically a system for UPCs where the prefixes align with the brand. So Amazon makes sure that if you use a certain first few digits of your UPC, that it's matching the brand name that you're putting in. So obviously when we had bundles on Amazon, those bundles had to be, were supposed to be under your brand name. So I have a brand. I have products with that brand that we would bundle with other name brand products to create bundles on Amazon. But then they've done away with that. Over on Walmart, they don't require GS1s. So you could actually make like a 2 pack of, Crisco shortening or Dawn dishwashing detergent, Playtex gloves, and a toilet bowl brush or something like whatever. You could put all three things together. And as long as you have a UPC that you can tie it to, which you would have to purchase, they really don't check it against whatever brand name you're putting out there. I will say those things, it's probably short-lived. I think Walmart will have to clean up their catalog. We're going to see some of that happening because they just announced the CPC guidelines for children products, which means there's a lot of like duplicate listings for like Squishmallows and other toys that are not the brand name. They're named by like the company that's like carrying them. And a lot of them are like things bought off of Alibaba. So I think all of those are going to go away because they're not going to have the testing documents required. Um, so we're gonna, it's got, I would say like ride the wave, like while you can do it. And then when they implement the rule, then I'm not going to do it anymore. But right now it's allowed. FedEx is the partner shipping for Walmart. It's very cheap. They will come and pick up your boxes, most cases, for no additional money. So I would just stick with that. And also, they partner for seller fulfilled, and a lot of the FedEx rates are actually cheaper than post office rates. Oh, you're in Hawaii. Yeah, I don't know about that. So, um, yeah, you would just, I mean, FedEx is their partner for WFS. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know how they will deal with that. So you would just have to kind of like try to put together a shipment and then kind of you don't have to like accept the charges, but see like what kind of fees they give you for that. All right, I'm gonna circle back to Yolanda now, see if I can understand what you were asking.
Okay, thank you very much. My question is I have a lot of small items that I could pack in a small box.
Uh-huh.
So I was wanting to know if there was like a minimum of size box, or it doesn't matter. I can put a lot of items in one box.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah, so
let's say like you
let's
have
say like you
um,
had
the Crocs
the
Jibbit.
Crocs gibbet.
You couldn't sell
You
that on
couldn't sell
Walmart
that on
because Crocs
Walmart
is
because Crocs
gated.
is gated.
I'm sorry. I'm
I'm
gonna
sorry,
mute
I'm
you while
gonna
I
mute
answer
you
because
while
I'm
I
getting
answer because I'm
feedback.
getting feedback.
Okay. Um, so Crocs Jibbits, which are tiny little things that, go into Crocs. Crocs is hard restricted on Walmart, but let's just say that's what it is. So it's super tiny. So maybe I could fit 200 of those in like a 6 by 6 by 6 box. That's perfectly fine. They don't care. Like you'll measure the 6 by 6 by 6 box, you'll weigh it, You'll put that information in and they will spit out a label and give you a price for shipping that small box. So yeah, no minimum. Like I said, I've sent in like sometimes, you know, for some reason I only have like one item, like or whatever, and I send it in a bubble mailer. So yeah, no big deal. All right. Any other questions? I want to thank you guys for coming and joining. Yeah, you
Yes,
want
I
to
have
say?
a question.
Okay.
So that's fine. You can circle back to me.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to find out, do you have the um online flips and the what is the cost for if someone wants uh to find products versus them looking for them? I don't have a lot of time
The leads
to
list.
look for products, but I do find a lot, but I would rather, someone do all the work of finding products.
So I'm putting my website in. Um, that website has information about my course, my mastermind group, my leads list. Both the mastermind and the leads are currently full, but if you're interested in if you want to get on the wait list, it won't charge you until you get accepted in. Um, and that happens at the end of every month. If anybody, cancels, then I fill those slots with people in the order of the waiting list. The other gentleman who does leads is OA Hunt. He's a friend of mine. His name's Derek. He's been doing Amazon leads for tons of years. He's newer to Walmart leads. I will say the biggest difference between him and I is I have 5 years of selling on Walmart myself. He is not a seller. He is a leads list generator. Very good on Amazon. I think some of his leads are good for Walmart, but I would say others probably are things I wouldn't buy. But that's just me. Like I'm not, there's certain items I don't sell. So he actually partnered with me during my Q4 group and provided a lot of leads to the people there. So, but currently those are the only two that I know of that provide Walmart leads.
Is his information on your website as well, or how can we
Yeah, I
find
put
out?
his information in the chat. It's oahunt.com.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I have a couple of questions. One, do you find that having a mixture of a lot of different products is good, or just sticking to maybe a core group of two or three different types of products?
Okay, and I'm going to mute you while I answer just because of the feedback issue. Um, with Walmart, I think it's much better to go super wide than deep, especially as a new seller, because you need to start kind of understanding what sells and what doesn't. Even myself, I have more products on Walmart than I do in my Amazon store, and I sell more on Amazon. So I just fine-tuned Amazon to know what products to go deeper on. And with Walmart, I'm still working in that direction. So like I have my Walmart catalog is about 2,000 active items, which is a lot. Like I don't, most people would not have that. And it's just because I am testing stuff constantly, just trying to figure out like, will this work? Will this work? Will this work? So yeah, good question. And did you?
My other question is, I know you mentioned stores to buy things from to retail, but nobody's mentioned Dollar Tree. And I know Dollar Tree has a lot of the same products that Walmart has. Is that an option to purchase from Dollar Tree to retail on Walmart?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different stores like Dollar General, Dollar Tree, both have some great items, and I've bought things from both of those and resold onto Walmart. So as long as I think the issue comes around the receipts and whether or not, if you were challenged, will that receipt like hold up and show what you bought? And I think the one thing about Dollar Tree that bothers me is I don't think their receipts detail, if I remember, and I could be wrong, like the UPC on them. And so that would present a little bit of a challenge. I don't worry about it as much on Walmart as I would on Amazon. But like I said, I've sold stuff from Dollar Tree on Walmart. Absolutely. So like, and there's like Ollie's, there's your local grocery store, like Dick's Sporting Goods, Five Below, Ross. Like, I mean, you can walk into a Starbucks store and buy bagged coffee or buy a tumbler and sell it. Like, really, it's limitless, like the types of stores you can buy from. It's just, will that product make profit? And that's the main question.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Any final questions? If you don't have Martyr, and you want Martyr, I will post a link for that in the chat. This is my affiliate link. It might get you it a little bit cheaper. I'm not sure, but go on there. Make sure if you're not part of the Martyr Facebook group, that you're on that. We're going to be posting about Inventory Falcon, which is coming out, the updates to alerts, which is going to include very Keepa-like graphs. So that's coming out. I mean, they're just constantly innovating. Um, oh, so this is recorded and I will post it on both the WoW group and the Martyr group. And then I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks. I will have probably like a live sourcing thing. I'll just have to look at my calendar and see when I can fit that in. But planning to do another live sourcing. I'm gonna try to do live sourcing at least once a quarter for everybody. Um, just because I think it's interesting for me to be challenged to try to find product and then just to be able to talk through and talk with everybody about making those buying decisions. All right. I appreciate all of you guys for spending your evening with me. I hope this was helpful. I will get the recording posted as soon as it processes. I have to process it and post it into YouTube, but it's an unlisted link. So I think this one, I might could do a live link on this one. But I'll post the link so that you can go back and watch it if you have other questions. You guys can always ping me, in Martyr, in the WoW group if you have questions. I try to make myself as available as I can because I love teaching and helping others. For me, e-commerce has changed this part of my life for the better. And so I love sharing that with other people. So you guys have a good evening and I wish you all the success to win on Walmart.